Perfect. Let's go to Mike Lissette, followed by David Newton.
Hello, guys. Dan, I had a question for you. In terms of needs, one of the things that a lot of people felt that was a big one for this team, considering the depth, was the center position. I'm curious, in terms of not making any picks today or the last couple of days at that position, where you see going forward with that spot.
Yeah, I think I said before, we feel really good about Austin Corbett there at center. I think he's progressing well, and I think Dave would say the same thing to you guys. I think him along with Brady Christensen, he's been getting some snaps at center. We feel like he has a lot of potential there as well. So we feel good about it, but we're always going to be looking to challenge our roster and get better and, create that competition. So we're not going to leave anything, we're not going to close the door on bringing somebody else in as well.
Hey, Dave, this is David Newton, the ESPN. Dave, wanted to ask you, you talked before the draft about wanting to build a great team around Bryce, not necessarily just put great players around Bryce. Do you feel like this has been a good start to that with this draft, and anything you feel like you need to add?
Absolutely. I feel like we really took advantage of some of those spots to, bring a bunch of talent, into our roster, specifically talking about the offense, just looking positionally, with a running back, a receiver, and a tight end, skill-wise, just really bringing a little bit of juice there to really challenge that whole group and elevate the offense. So I'm really excited about what we did there.
And have you talked to Bryce during this process, and how does he feel about what you've been doing?
Yeah, just short text back and forth. He's really excited about what we've done. From the responses that I got from him, he's very fired up about what we got put together.
Cool. And one question for Dan. Dan, with the last pick there, you picked an undersized linebacker. I'm curious if I know you were around Sam Mills. Did that cross through your mind as he shows some of those same traits? Is that?
I wouldn't say specifically that it was, Sam Mills. I think you just see a really good football player, really good instincts, really good nose for the ball. He's been productive. A guy that we thought highly of. I think he has a lot of potential, and we're excited about him.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yep.
Now let's go to Joe Person, followed by Skylar Callahan.
Hey guys, Dan, you said yesterday, and you've said before, I think, that you never fill every position. You did get a corner today, but it looks like a lot of people view him as a nickel. Do you envision signing Steph Gilmore in the coming days or weeks?
Yeah. So first off, we're really excited about Shaw. Shaw is a guy that can play. He can play inside, he can play outside, so we liked his versatility. He's good on special teams. I think he's a guy that can really contribute and make us better. I think obviously at every position we're going to look to improve, not just the corner position, but again, we're going to try to create depth and competition everywhere. And, as far as Stephon, we're not going to close the door on anything, and we'll continue to talk and explore and, see where that goes.
Also, when Scott was here, he used to talk about always, listening when people would call with trade offers or discussions. Will you keep an open ear, like where a guy like Miles Sanders is concerned after y'all drafted Jonathan Brooks?
No, I think it's more. We're always going to be, if you want to say in on every deal, and, we're always going to keep our ear to the pavement and, just kind of be open to everything. In terms of Miles, we love Miles. We see a big role for him. I think Dave would tell you the same, that we think really highly of Miles. We love Miles. He can do a lot for our offense. He's versatile, in the pass game, and he's a really good runner. So we're excited about him as well.
Dan, obviously you've been in these war rooms before. Having gone through that process, did it feel like it was a smooth transition for you to actually sit in the GM chair? Was there any unexpected things or things that you weren't maybe quite as prepared for and kind of figured that out in the moment? And then secondly, behind the scenes, how big of an impact did Brant Tillis have on some of the decisions that were made?
Yeah, I felt really good, and to your point with Brant Tillis and with Dave and just the team that I'm surrounded with. Obviously, I got to give them all the credit. You're only as strong as the people around you, is what I always feel, and to have Dave and to have Brant and Cole Spencer, Adrian Wilson, Jarrett Kirksey, and all the area scouts, and they've done a heck of a job, and I couldn't do it alone. So I really got to thank those guys.
With Brant specifically, though, what does he bring to the table? I know he's obviously done a lot with the cap and everything, but what kind of analysis does he bring during the draft?
He brings a lot to the table. He's brilliant, really smart guy. Not only with the cap, he's just good. Like being in the draft room, being able to bounce things off of him, being able to bounce things off of Dave, and just the group in general. I'm really happy with the group, and definitely blessed to be surrounded by a bunch of great people.
All right, let's go to Mike K.
Dan, how different was today compared to the previous 2 days where it felt like there was a lot of moving and shaking, and this one, it felt like you guys were a little bit more patient and just let the board come to you?
Yeah, I think, after those first, I would say 4 rounds, I think things start to get, maybe a little more fluid, and, what you're doing and your plans start to kind of, you're still trying to strategize and kind of figure things out. So, I think, just it's definitely different, in those later rounds. That's where the scouting really comes into play and things become, a little tougher per se. So, again, you got to have good area scouts, people with a good eye for talent, and, definitely thankful that we have that.
With that said, as you guys go into undrafted free agency, and I know that's like 7 picks away, how are you guys planning to attack that? Is there a position that you felt like you just kind of missed out on with the way the board felt?
No, not really. I think that, in undrafted free agency, obviously we're going to count numbers, and we have specific numbers at each position that we're trying to get to fill out the 90-man roster. Right now, as we're speaking, the guys are back there. They're on the phone with agents, trying to recruit players, and just kind of fill the roster out. But we're just trying to fill the numbers out, but not just fill the numbers out, but fill the numbers out with a bunch of, great players and competitors, and, just the type of people that we want in our program.
I got time for a few more. Let's go back to David Newton and Joe Person.
Yeah, Dan, I wanted to ask you, you saw this roster a year ago, and I want to ask you to compare it to them, but how much better do you feel like, or more complete do you feel like this roster is than what it was a year ago?
Definitely not going to get into comparisons. I think that we have to make this roster the best that we can for the team this year in 2024. That's our goal, is to take it day by day and just try to build it and make it the best that we can with what we have at store. And, me and Dave, we talk every day about the roster and which ways we can make it better. And, I think we're headed in a good direction.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Enjoy the concert.
Thanks.
And Dave, I wanted your take on the tight end Sanders, and then I had one more for Dan, please.
Yeah, versatility, right? You guys, I sound like a broken record, but it's really what we're looking for, for our system and the things that JT, as he goes by, the things that he showed on film, just being able to use him as a receiver, use him in the run game in creative ways, He's definitely not the traditional inline type of tight end. He's a guy that can do a lot of different things. He's made some dynamic plays with the ball in his hand, and he really is strong at the catch. And that's probably one of the biggest things that we saw in him is just the contested catch part. He's got massive hands, and he really does attack the ball. And, anymore in this league, tight ends to really get that separation and man-to-man, it's pretty hard. Most of them are around the same speed except for a few guys. So since they're going to be covered, the contested catch is big, and that's where he really separated himself from the rest of the guys. And we just saw a great opportunity. Had all night to sleep on it, woke up in the morning and talked through some stuff, and we're so excited to make that decision.
Thank you. And then Dan, free agency, you guys obviously made a big investment with the guards. Then we saw in the draft 3 skill position players for your offense and for Bryce. Was that the plan to take care of the line and then look at skill guys in the draft?
Yeah, I think you could say that was the plan. And I think it really, free agent wise, we looked at where we thought was strong in free agency and then where we thought it was going to be strong in the draft, and kind of come up with a plan of how we should attack it. And it just really came out that way, to where we attacked the interior, the offensive line, got that right, and then we were, it left us with the flexibility, to go into the draft and, draft a wideout, draft a tight end, and just some guys that we like that we can kind of surround Bryce with and make this team and this offense better.
Thank you.
All right, let's finish up with Deshaun Brown.
Good evening, Dan. A question for you. The social team has shared some video of you making some of the calls throughout the weekend. I'm curious, having been in their shoes, what was your experience being the one this time to make that call?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think you're calling these guys, and I remember getting a call from obviously the Carolina Panthers, and it's really a surreal moment. So to know what they're feeling on the other end, it definitely hits a little different. I know the excitement that these guys, they've been working their whole lives for this moment right here, and to be able to call and interact with them and hand the phone off to Mr. Tepper and then Dave and the position coach, it's a really cool feeling, and you're just really happy for the guys when you're able to do that.
Thank
All
you.
right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah.